Do you know how many disciples besides Shion, the legendary master Hakurei of Altar, trained in the Lost Canvas? One of them not only renounced the sanctuary, but also became the absolute leader of Death Queen Island, creating an empire of darkness that challenged the very hierarchy of Athena's saints. Hello, saints and Amazons. Welcome to the Semperquist Saber channel. I'm Wes, and today we're going to meet the 5 disciples of Hakurei of Altar in the Lost Canvas saga. Comment which Master Hakurei disciples you know, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's jump into the video. To understand who Hakurei's students were, we need to understand who the master was. Hakurei is a survivor of the Holy War of the 18th century. He and his twin brother Seiya were the only ones left from an era of massacres, perpetrated by the twin gods and by Thanatos. Although Hakurei was the favorite of his master, Itya of Libra, to be the heir to the position of Grandmaster and the Gold Cloth of Cancer, he gave up everything in favor of his brother, thus choosing the silver altar cloth and voluntary exile in the mountains of Jamiel. There he became the guardian of the cloths, the master in the art of restoring the sacred armors using stardust and the blood of saints. Hakurei is not just a blacksmith, he is a master of forbidden and forgotten techniques. His signature technique, the Sekishiki Tenryuha, the Wave of Spirits, allows him to summon the souls of deceased saints to create a devastating attack. It is under this aura of ancient wisdom and absolute rigor that he trained several aspiring saints in the 18th century. Number 1. Shion of Aries. We begin with the one who is perhaps Hakurei's most famous student, that being Shion of Aries. Before becoming Mu's master and the Grand Master of the Sanctuary that we all know from Seiya's era, Shion was a young Muvian prodigy with a peculiar and sometimes disturbing ability. Armor psychometry. Shion could hear the memories and suffering of the armors just by touching them. This made him overly sensitive and melancholic. Hakurei saw in him not just a restorer, but the future pillar of the sanctuary. Shion's training in Jamiel was focused on disciplining his mind and strengthening his cosmo so that he could bear the weight of the history that the armors carried. Historically, Shion is one of the few survivors of the Holy War against Hades in the 18th century. Under Hakurei's tutelage, he learned the advanced teleportation technique, armor restoration, and control of his cosmo. The relationship between master and student was one of almost divine respect, but Hakurei was strict. He knew that Shion would have to rebuild the sanctuary from scratch after Hades' fall. Shion not only inherited the Aries gold cloth from Avendir, but also his master's will to protect the earth at any cost, becoming the bridge between two eras. Yuzuriha of Groh is one of the most fascinating characters in the Lost Canvas. She belongs to the people of Jamiel, the same race of descendants from the continent of Mu, to which Hakurei and Shion belong. Her story is marked by a deep family tragedy that led her to seek training from Hakurei. Unlike other knights, Yuzuriha does not wear a mask all the time, slightly defying the strict laws for Athena's Amazons, although she keeps her honor intact. She is the bearer of the silver cloth of Groh. Her fighting style is unique, using a scarf made of divine silk threads that react to her cosmo, allowing for long-range attacks and manipulation of objects. Training with Hakurei transformed her into an elite warrior, thanks to the teleportation and spatial manipulation techniques the old master taught her. Yuzuriha is the symbol of female resilience in Athena's army, playing a key role in escorting Tenma of Pegasus and in the search for the Makurendi fruits from the underworld, which are essential to seal the immortality of Hades' specters. 3. Dom Avido of the Black Altar. Now we enter a dark territory. Dom Avido. He was one of Hakurei's most talented disciples, even being considered the natural successor to the silver altar cloth. However, Avido was driven by an insatiable desire for luxury, power, and wealth. For Avido, the life of self-denial and protecting the land was a joke. He believed that, with the power he possessed, he should be served and not serve. He deserted the training in Jamiel and went to the Death Queen Island, where he became the leader of the Black Saints. There he took on the Black Altar Cloth, and Don Avido developed a theorized technique called Sekishiki Sosoha, which allows him to manipulate the souls of those he killed to create a floating mansion made of spirits. He became a Don of the underworld, commanding the Black Saints as if they were a mafia organization. The confrontation between him and Manigold is epic, And it shows the contrast between what Hakurei and Seiji teach and what greed can do with a powerful Cosmo. He is a classic example of a student who had the potential to be a hero. Number 4. Tokusa of Hanuman. Tokusa's story is, without a doubt, the saddest among Hakurei's disciples. He was Yuzuriha's younger brother and a prodigy in Jamiel. Hakurei had great hopes for him, but fate had cruel plans. During a night of despair and under the influence of Hades' forces, Tokusa was visited by Thanatos, the god of death. The god offered Tokusa eternal life and the power to protect his family, but the price was terrible. He was supposed to kill his own parents and his sister to awaken his evil star. Tokusa gave in. He killed his parents, but Yuzuriha survived. He then became the specter of Hanuman, the celestial star of evil. His technique, the Sekishiki Nyo-Irin, is a variation of Hakurei's soul techniques, but corrupted by the power of the specters. Hakurei's training was so effective that, even as a villain, Tokusa was a formidable fighter, capable of rivaling powerful knights. Number 5. Atla. Finally, we have Atla. He is the youngest on the list, but don't be fooled by his childlike appearance. Atla possesses a psychokinetic power that surpasses even scions at the same age. He is mainly responsible for the mass teleportation of the Sanctuary's troops during the Holy War, managing to teleport dozens of people across entire continents. Atla is not a frontline fighter in the traditional sense, but he is the logistical heart of Jamiel. Under Hakurei's guidance, he learned to read the movement of the stars and predict catastrophes. Many fans theorize that Atla is the spiritual ancestor or even a previous incarnation of figures like Mu, given the physical resemblance and the role he plays as a support figure for the heroes. He represents the purity of Hakurei's teaching, the use of power for the common good, without the need for glory or golden armor. You must be wondering, how did a single man manage to train such different and powerful people? The secret of Hakurei lay in the balance between mystical technique and moral strength. In Jamiel, the air is thin and the environment is hostile. The disciples were forced to meditate on piles of destroyed armor, feeling the lament of the dead. This created a spiritual connection that no other knight in the sanctuary possessed. Hakurei taught that the armor is not just a suit of metal armor, but a living being with its own will. That's why his students, even those who became villains like Avido, had a level of Cosmo control far above average. They didn't just burn their Cosmo, they shaped it through the will of the souls around them. Hakurei's disciples are important characters in the Lost Canvas. They show us that training goes beyond physical strength. It's about legacy, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Or in the case of the fallen ones, it's a warning of what happens when the heart closes itself off to the light of the stars. So, which of these disciples is your favorite? Did you already know the story of Dom Avido and his Mansion of Souls? Leave your opinion here in the comments. And, of course, thank you for watching this video until the end, and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.